Hello everyone, in this opportunity we will talk about the MILA. The members of the group are who is talking, Tracy Barranzuela, María, Fernanda López, Santiago Mansilla, and Bryan Torres. And my partner, María Fernanda, we will talk to you about what MILA is about.
The Latin American integration markets, known by the acronym MILA, is a transnational stock market integration that was signed and created on June 8 in 2010 by the Santiago Stock Exchange, Colombian Stock Exchange, and Lima Stock Exchange. Um, its first operation occurred on May 13 in 2011. In June 2014, the Mexican Stock Exchange joined the MILA, for which it acquired 3.79 million shares of the BBL, equivalent to 6.7% of the Series 8 securities. Therefore, it is the second largest stock exchange in Latin America by market capitalization after the Sao Paulo Stock Exchange. This Latin American integrated market is the result of agreements between the members' exchange in order to create a single and transnational market in which to buy and sell the variable income securities of the different exchange in the same market. In this way, the public that can access the shares of the different markets is greatly expanded, providing the securities listing in the MILA with greater liquidity. Okay. The characteristics of MILA. Okay. The most important characteristics of MILA consist in the fact that each market retains its independence and regulatory autonomy, but its main idea is to develop together as an integrated market, taking into account that the market that comprise it are complementary to each other. In this way, the negotiation in MILA are carried out in the local currency and with book entries through the local intermediary, which further simplifies international operation through this mechanism. These issuers are obligated to comply with the regulations of the securities markets in which their securities are original registered, and not that corresponding to the jurisdiction where the registration may occur as a result of the operation of the integration market. In this sense, issuers don't assume greater obligation than those already required in their home market. Investors' access to the Chilean and Peruvian markets will be done through an intermediary routine model for the local market. That is, people who want to buy shares in those markets should approach a local brokerage firm who have access to those markets through contracts with firms in each country and trading screens. Each market will retain its trading system and rules. There will be no unified rules of the integrated market. This is one of the steps that are on the agenda of what comes in the second phase of integration. Only cash purchase and sale operation will carry out. It does not apply to repos, shorts, sales, TTB, fixed income, or derivatives operation. Colombian brokerage firm will have access to a screen via the web through which they can enter their clients' orders and see the depths for the three markets, Colombia, Peru, and Chile. Corporate events and social rights will be handled in each country of according to local regulation. Okay. Benefits of being part of MILA. For the investors, a greater alternative for financial instrument and the possibility of creation new portfolios. Expansion of investment possibilities leading to a reduction in volatility. Access to a stock market with a strong presence of well-positioned issuers. Okay, for intermediaries, increase in the type and number of products to distribute to customer and the possibility of creation new investment vehicles. New portfolios diversified by sectors, technological strengthening of the sectors thanks to the application of international standards. For issuers, reduction of capital costs, access to a wider market, the expansion of the demand for financing, capturing the interest of the greater number of investors. For the country, the support for integration process of the economies of countries that comprise it, and greater competitiveness in the region. This is the leading indicators. There are three. This is the number one. This is number two, capitalization of markets MILA, and the volume.
Hello, my name is Bryan Torres. Now I am going to talk about the capitalization in the stock market. So in this table, we can see the monthly percentage variation that the countries belonging to the group have, where we can hide Chile's participation while we are in a fourth place here. So now I am going to talk about the long and short terms, goals, and challenge of MILA. In July the 2015, the president of the members countries of the Pacific Alliance agreed on the 2015 to 2016 work agenda prioritizing, among other aspects, the following challenge related to MILA. One, identify and coordinate initiatives that allows the strengthening and consolidation of the Latin American Integrated Market, or MILA. Implement measures that achieve the recognition of issues of primary offerings in the four countries. And three, implement measures aimed at expanding the instruments that can we trade on different exchange platforms. So we can see the table of MILA next step in the short terms, that the values expand the foreign values of offers and promotion in a country, incorporate debit, securities, or other types of instruments based on organization through integration agreements. In the part of markets, expand MILA to the primary market, recognize the registration made in MILA country for the offer to be offered to the general public, and in offer recognition of the registration and authorization of the offer of foreign securities in the countries. So now we have the table of MILA in next medium term steps. In greater operational convergence, ad- advances in system compatibility are required to achieve lower transaction costs. Harmonization of exchange and tax regime. Conversing exchange rate and tax will allow investors. Tax authorities to investors will allow greater fluidity between markets for both agents of the region and non-residents, are of the so-called regulation harmonization. Global visibility. Presentation of the MILA market as an attractive entry for investors seeking exposures to risks in the region. Extremely cross-border supervision. Implementation of the market supervision mechanisms, technical cooperation and information exchange for supervisory purposes. For example, the Association of Financial Supervisors recommended by Basel and others. And now in associated of MILA, we have the Banco Comercial, Bolsa Mexicana, Indeval, BUC, Cavalli, and others. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tracy Barranzuela Benitez, and I will talk about Peru in the MILA. Peru has a stock market that is in constant dynamism and expansion. The country's accelerated economic growth makes it a potential emerging economy and gives a high level among the best projections for the future. When the agreement for the market unit was signed, Peru and Colombia were the pioneers of this. In the way, Chile and Mexico joined and formed MILA as we know it now. Peru entered the market in order to exploit its minimum values, since the BDC will focus on the financial sector and the BCS on the commerce and services sector. In this way, there will be a wide, varied and attractive market for investment. In the analysis of the impact of MILA in the local market, and to determine the impact, we can analyze four characteristic variables that are deep, access, efficiency, and stability. This is the matrix of characteristics of the Peruvian stock market, and with these indicators, and the characteristics are deep, and the indicators are for this are market capitalization with GDP and amount traded with GDP. For access are market capitalization percentage, excluding top 10 companies, and the percentage of amount trade, also excluding the top 10 companies. And for the efficiency, the indicators are market turnover ratio, and for stability are volatility, market return asymmetry. About the Peruvian subs, first we need to know what is a sub. A sub is a pseudonym for brokerage firms. In Spanish is Sociedad Agentes de Bolsa. These are the only intermediaries in the stock market supervised by the SMV. They are in charge of carrying out the investors' purchase sale operations, establishing communication with the subs of the market to which they wish to invest. They are essential for the operations carried out between the four markets that make up the MILA. These are the Peruvian subs, the list. This is from the BCS, this is from the BBC, and this is for the Mexican. This is from the Mexican subs. This is the process of investment through a sub or a Peruvian investor can make an investment in another market. First, it starts with the Peruvian investor. Second, it put the proposed on the TWS. And third, they inform the operations. Fourth, they assign the operations. And five, they liquid the operations. And it's an spot operation. The benefits that achieve Peru with MILA are that being part of the integrated market is greater, as well as the opportunities for expansion. It has greater possibilities of foreign investment, and Peruvian investors have the opportunity to invest in the stock markets of Chile, Colombia, and Mexico. MILA is, after Brazil, the Latin American market with the largest market capitalization. Its members are recognized by best value risk analysts for being part of this association, like S&P, Moody's. Peru is fairly dynamic and volatile market. Being part of the MILA allows it to have greater stability since macroeconomically. Peru maintains an inflation rate of 1 to 3% because of the pre-existing agreement of the MILA member countries. Thanks to the integration, it was proposed to incorporate the settlement system through global custodians into Peruvian operations, through which global custodians will provide more investment options and portfolio diversification to the clients. And I forgot to say that about the matrix of characteristics of Peruvian stocks market with these indicators. About this evaluation with Peru, the DIP determines that the Peruvian market is small and has little liquidity. MILA's impact in this regard will not be greater until it begins to be combined with the other indicators that have access, efficiency, and stability. About access, this includes the number of companies that exist within the Peruvian stock market based on MILA. It is expected that with the integration, it will open doors to new companies insofar there are a few players and large companies. And regarding efficiency and stability, the Peruvian market with respect to MILA has not changed its efficiency, but its stability since it stopped being so volatile because the Peruvian market is kind of so volatile, but in the last few years, it has registered 2% minus in this volatility because of the integration of MILA.
Okay, good day, teacher. I'm Santiago Mansilla, and I'm going to talk from point 2.5 to point 2.8. I only have less than 5 minutes, so I'm going to make it quick and be direct. So the statistics of the MILA in the Peruvian market. When compared to other countries, MILA in the lifespan of MILA, it's a fact that Peru isn't performing as well. Recent statistics show that there is a low but steady growth on Peru. Obviously, it's not as big as the others, but it's still there. An interesting thing to point out is how there was a spike during the quarantine or when it was announced. Our take on it is that it was probably because people were in state of panic, trying to secure, sell, or buy stocks necessary, or that for them to have like a plan B of sorts, or just to keep the value or their money back. It's there are many takes on it, but that's what we think. Now regarding there is we also have these graphs that are a summary of trade amounts and operations in the local market, and also by Peruvian intermediaries in the international market. That's the second graph. As you can see, there isn't much movement in here. This only further proves that Peru doesn't move as much. We do have movement in the second graph when it comes to international market in November. So yes, a good amount happened with regarding the Chilean market as destiny. But aside from that, not much movement, as we can tell in recent months. This can still change because of November. We're still at the beginning, but given their past record, it's unlikely. The BBL and MILA. The BBL, Bolsa de Valores de Lima, does have regulations to uphold in order to keep everything going smoothly for every participant. They have the power to regulate. They have to enforce. They do force their regulations on MILA. So yeah, MILA has to uphold to those. There's even a total of 80 articles that dictate how every operation in the trading floor should proceed. Let's cover a wide range from general dispositions like written definitions to prohibitions and sanctions. These 80 articles are arranged in titles and chapters, so there's a lot of information to be aware of when participating. Also, when it comes to the custody of and liquidation of the stocks, Cavalli was designed as the entity to take care of it. As I mentioned before, Peru wasn't performing as well as the others, and in this section you can see a graph on why or how. While MILA does offer attractive opportunities to investors decide to participate on it, it apparently it didn't have this. I mean, it does have the same effect in every country, but not every. It doesn't promote that much on. It didn't promote that much of an intention in Peru, improving investors. Now, there can be a variety of reasons for this. Not enough stocks in the exchange market, not enough stability in the economy, which is weird because we had a pretty stable economy. till a few months ago. So one can question why and ask why, but getting to an answer is not simple here. The fact is that Peru is not performing as well, and the investors know it. They will place money in this very carefully when it comes to the Peruvian market. Now, goals of opportunities of Peru in MILA. There is a few. Modify the MILA regulatory framework, for example, make it smoothly. I'm sorry. Incorporation of a rule that enables possibility of MILA participants acquiring securities issued from a primary public offering. That's a good one. Assimilation of a tariff that copies or at the very least gets close to the other stock exchanges. Having similar tariffs helps to acquire and sell on other stock exchanges, using them as destinies and the like. This problem was actually quite problematic in the first years, but it was a little toned down as time passed. It's still a problem, but not as big. In search of more stocks into MILA, Peru doesn't provide all that many, and the inclusion of a new economy into MILA to make the market bigger. There's a variety of those in Latin America. One has to pick. It's not an easy job, but I think it can be done. And that'll be all from me, Professor. Thank you very much.
As a conclusion, we know that although Peru has not undergone major changes when it began to be part of MILA, it is a window towards great profitable possibilities, in addition to the fact that belonging to this market gives the country an international presence and allows it to reach more investment markets. Also, as a recommendation, we think that Peru should begin to have more presence in the actions carried out by the MILA so that it is more attractive to foreign investors. That's all. Thank you.